Well, actually, you're on the bottom left. So in the bottom left corner, we have Alicia, the red Protoss from Team Slayers. I would just say that he's... Could you consider him the underdog in this matchup at all?
No.
No. Okay, so he's the favorite then.
It's interesting. Sen is amazing against foreigners, but he crumbles against Koreans. Like, that's been a consistent thing that we've seen time and time again throughout Sen. As soon as he pairs up against some, you know, really, really big Korean player, it almost looks like a massacre. And it's been such a shame because that's been really what's been holding him back every single North American Star League. That's what's been holding him back. That's
not completely the case, though. Sen has been beating Koreans. I mean, he beat Zenio last night. And so Sen, he is our Zerg in the top right corner from Team Gamania, a team in Taiwan. Sen, of course, is, just like you said, really good amongst foreigners, but he's also even beaten Korean Protosses back when he competed in GSL. Yes. I remember that game we played against Protoss. So Sen does have it in him. It's just that, of course, like we said, Sen hasn't really been able to overcome that hill where he's become the world elite by beating the Koreans.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I mean, it's been so difficult for Sen over time. Actually, we had a huge talk back when we were in Fnatic about Koreans, and it's just like he does feel nervous against them. And there's just so much expected of him. It's a lot of pressure, and sometimes, you know, it just gets to you, and you know, obviously he can crumble. Sen is immortal, even though people don't think so sometimes. But what do we have right here? It looks like Hatch first, which is kind of interesting, of course, but both these players are just going to go for their Nexus/hatcheries first before getting any sort of buildings or units.
Yeah. Alicia going to go for Nexus first on dual site, which is quite unheard of, actually, because dual site is a little bit harder to map to get that early expansion for Protoss. In fact, players like MC don't even bother with Forge Fast expanding on this map. They go for gateway expansion, very throwback builds, you know, maybe 1 gate expand, 3 gate expand. But Alicia going to go Nexus first. And those are cojones of steel, if I don't say so myself.
It's interesting. Of course, he was able to make those calls because he was scouting the whole time with this probe, and he saw the hatch first. Now, if he doesn't see this hatchery first, he's not going to do something like that. So this probe actually enables him to do moves like that. Right now, I don't think Alicia is really scared of anything, and I think I agree with this decision. You move the probe over here just to stop any potential third bases from going down, because you know your opponent has seen that you're going for an expansion, while their natural progression is to take a third base. They want to get that economy up as fast as possible. So him blocking that's the best situation. He already found out everything that he could have, no gas directly after the spawning pool. So he's doing everything right, in my opinion.
Yep, and dual site is just a good choice for Sen's kind of style. Loves to be everywhere on the map. Sen been using counterattacks since day #1. Just being able to not only confront your army in a big open space, but because there's lots of avenues of attack on dual site, it's definitely a tactic for Sen to get back into this series. Because guys, if you're just tuning in, Sen is down 0-1, and he needs to win this game and send it to just another best of 3. You don't want to go down 0-2, because then all of a sudden it's just, you have no more room for error. So you can guarantee that Sen really wants a strong win. Dual site, a great map indeed for that kind of style for Sen.
Yeah, I'm really interested though how he actually turns this out, because dual site, let's be honest, it's not a good defensive map. You were saying before, the counterattacking possibilities are very strong, and the way Sen is actually opening this up, especially going for hatchery first, it is more defensive. It gives kind of the ball to Alicia. He's the one that can actually make the moves and say, okay, well, what kind of 2-base all-in do I want to do? And it's up to Sen to not only identify that, but beat that style. And we saw last game, well, Alicia got found out. He knew exactly, Sen knew exactly what Alicia was doing, and he still lost to the 4-gate and then transitioned into the, well, I shouldn't say the 4-gate, but the Blink Stalker +2 timing that he lost to.
Yeah, that was a 7-gate, but that's pretty typical of Alicia. In fact, the way Alicia likes to operate is through a lot of 2-base attacks. He's gone through 7-gate, he's gone through Stargate with Warp Gate attacks, he's gone through almost a huge cycle of here at NASL. Now he puts down 5 additional gates,
what timing?
But he's not going to stop there.
Look at this timing, the Overlord timing.
Oh wow!
This is amazing.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, you put the gateways down. Let me scout right now.
Alicia puts down one more gate away, trying to see if you can avoid the 7th gate being revealed. Because I was like, well, Alicia's definitely not gonna stop at 6 gates. And so Alicia placed another one, but the Overlord is parked just in the sight of it and able to get sight of that gateway. So Alicia knows everything. He sees 7 gates. He sees sentries popping out. He knows exactly what Alicia is planning.
And from here, where does Sen go? Well, he needs to make sure that he has a little bit of creep spread. I would actually say that one queen probably is going to put down, there it is, a creep tumor. Connecting bases is pretty important, but you actually want to have room and scouting over this area. These 2 areas are important as well, but what you're going to do is position your units just around here. That way you can react to anything via the Overlords, and then your creep tumors are going to be spotters over here, assuming that you lose control of this tower. And then that way you can always place your units in a very efficient spot. We're going to see, though, is it going to be enough units? Income tab shows 55 harvested to 46. 55 is a great number. It's a little bit short, actually, for the amount of gases that he has. He wants to go up to... Oh gosh, I'm not going to do the math right now.
Well, I mean, this is the
60.
Yeah, this is the 10 century push that Alicia did against Rhett back in Division number 4 for NASL Season 3 group play. And he did it through pushing through this 3rd, and again, using that hatchery as an area for force fielding. And now Rhett, what Rhett didn't do right last time is that he lost waves and chunks of roaches slowly and really allowed those sentries to completely dissect his opponent. Now you can see Sen is immediately targeting down these roaches, but what's big is that Spine Crawler is adding lots of DPS and taking out a lot of these sentries.
Yeah. But the roaches have diminished quite a bit in numbers, and you can see there's still a lot of gateway units. The spine crawlers are still chucking away at those sentries. Look at how many force fields had to be committed here, but the stalker count is growing substantially. And Sen, I don't know if he can actually deflect this at all. Drones are going to be pulled here, but they don't offer a lot.
Look at the reinforcement wave, though, Andre, and there's not a lot of sentries left. And again, Alicia had to be a little bit more careful with the sentries. He still has a huge unit advantage for now, but there's 10 more roaches in production, and roach speed is just started, so that is a countdown. But if Alicia can really force this attack to really work, Sen needs more roaches. They're coming in through the natural, but the stalker count is growing just like you said. It's going to come down to the wire, but Sen, it looks like he's going to have to back up to the 3rd and give it up.
Yeah, I think Sen just lost the 3rd base. Now, this is a really tough position for him because Sen actually off of this 2 base doesn't really profit or doesn't get more power over a 2 base Protoss that's just going gateway units. He needs that extra oomph somewhere, whether it be infestors, whether it be some miracle upgrade, whether, you know, +1/+1 or +2/+2, something like that. But Sen has nothing working towards that, and that's going to be critical. Actually, Glio Reconstitution wasn't finished that whole game. I don't know how Sen's going to actually come back into this because Alicia's doing the right decision. Pulling back and then getting an investment that helps out his economy substantially. Not his economy, his army substantially, which is Twilight Council tech. A lot of players would actually choose to go to Robotech from here. I think Twilight Council is substantially better because it helps the Blink Stalkers and potentially Charge Floods a lot.
Alicia will be supply blocked pretty deep because he loses a few pylons, but nonetheless, getting that the blink upgrade, just like you said, will be very critical for Alicia's success in the upcoming minutes. But Alicia really didn't necessarily prepare for those pylons. You can see he's pretty supply blocked, getting up to almost 1,000 minerals, now able to make units. And for a little bit of time, Sen will have a pretty large army advantage. In fact, Sen is poking in here before Blink is finishing, and there's not a lot of force fields left. Sen does have some isolated, but there's not that many units from Alicia. He's trying to warp in more. In fact, he has to warp in Zealots to burn a lot of his minerals off.
Yeah, that's not bad. I'll still take that because all he has to do is wait for that blink to come up, and he's in a great position. Actually misses the force yields, and a lot of units are going to go down, but there's just not enough roaches, Frodan. This is not looking good for Sen. Alicia is cleaning up units on the top part, and now all the roaches on the bottom are segmented. The stalkers are giving chase, and I don't see Sen actually coming back from this. He's so far behind. Once Blink pops up, it's going to be an instant light switch. He's just going to turn on and keep the pressure on as much as possible.
Yeah, and you can see that with +2 in the way and not even an Evo chamber, is not even up. So Sen's going to be down that many upgrades. He's going to have a really hard time holding off any kind of follow-up push from Alicia. Alicia just playing this 2-base style really adamantly. And, I mean, even though Alicia's been on 2-base, he even has a higher economy during this whole time. Because Sen lost so many drones at the 3rd, now just unleashed another dozen but still, at 54 drones at 14 minutes game in 3 base, that's not where you want to be as Zerg.
So one really powerful thing that these Blinkstalkers do is allows you to chase units. Right now, all Sen wants to do is counterattack. That's the only thing he can do. If he goes to try to do a direct confrontation, he will lose 100% of the time. So how we need to go about this is try to counterattack, and then buy time so that your economy at your third base can kick in and you can do something about it.
No, but time is something he doesn't have.
Yeah, Sen coming back here, I think this is the losing blow, because 2-2 is about to finish. This is the perfect timing, and every single Blinkstalker is just going to outdo these roaches.
These force fields from Alicia have just been such a nuisance to Sen. He's never really been able to engage fully with those roaches, and add all the DPS. Look at Alicia just picking it up. GG gets called out. Alicia takes game number 2, jumping out to a 2-0 lead over our Taiwanese Zerg. And Sen, where was the Sen from yesterday, man?
I know, just falling 2-0 straight away, and that's a difficult push to stop.
It is.
I mean,
it's really hard.
Dual site's small, man. Especially if you get your probes or your pylons over there on time. It's very, very small. And another thing that we want to mention is that the slow metabolic boost actually disables you from shutting down pylons in time. I think that's the #1 thing. Protecting the pylons is something that you need to disable. Well, that's the most awkward way to say that. As Zerg, kill the pylons. Right?
Okay.
Kill the pylons, and then you can really kill off that push pretty effectively. Delay it by 15, 20, 30 seconds. Think if all those 20 roaches were in the second wave of units. God, I'm all over the place. I'm sorry, I'm sick. But if he had the reinforcements there, he would have won. I'm going crazy.
I understand what you mean. If we just make sure the reinforcements are delayed, just even by distance, if Stalkers have to traverse more of the map, Sen has more time, because the biggest thing with holding off that wave is, of course, Sen's reinforcements, which are easier if the hatcheries are close. That game is brought to you by Azo, the people who provide monitors for NASL Season 3. Check them out at azo.com. While we go to a short commercial break, Sen is on the ropes. Will he be able to pull out a comeback, or will one of our third-place finishers not make it to the finals in Toronto? We'll find out after this message.